Before I get into the issue of the tactic of least worst voting, which the historical record I think quite adequately exposes as utterly ineffective, I just want to tick off, if you vote for Biden, what policies are you voting for? Well, to start with, you're voting against the Me Too movement, and you're voting for the humiliation of courageous women such as Anita Hill. You're voting for the architects of endless war in the Middle East. You're voting for the apartheid state in Israel. You're voting for the wholesale surveillance of the public by government intelligence agencies. You're voting for the abolition of habeas corpus and due process. You're voting for punishing austerity programs, including, as we mentioned, the destruction of welfare and cuts to Social Security, which Biden has repeatedly called for. You're voting for NAFTA and these free trade deals and deindustrialization that has brought about a collapse of the working class, the decline in wages in real terms, the loss of hundreds of thousands of manufacturing jobs, the offshoring of jobs to underpaid workers. I mean, GM opens plants in Monterrey, Mexico, closes plants in Anderson, Indiana. All those unionized jobs are gone, and Mexican workers are paid $3 an hour without benefits. And then all these trucks and cars are rolled back over the border and sold to us. You're voting for, as you mentioned, an assault on public education. Arne Duncan was a huge proponent of charter schools in the Obama administration. You're voting for the doubling of our prison population, and as I mentioned, the tripling and quadrupling of sentences, and the expansion of crimes meriting the death penalty. You're voting for militarized police who gun down nearly 2,000 people a year, mostly poor people of color, almost all unarmed, with impunity. You're voting against the Green New Deal and immigration reform. You're voting for limiting a woman's right to abortion. This has also been something Biden has pushed. You're voting for a segregated public school system in which the wealthy receive educational opportunities and poor people of color do not. You're voting for punitive levels of student debt. You're voting, and the inability to free yourself from that debt, courtesy of the Congress. You're voting for deregulating the banking industry, including the abolition of Glass-Steagall. You're voting for the for-profit insurance and pharmaceutical corporations and against health care for all. You're voting for these bloated defense budgets. You're voting for the use of unlimited oligarchic and corporate money to buy our elections. And you're voting for a politician, Joe Biden, who, when he was a senator out of Delaware, abjectly served the interests of credit card companies like MBNA, which employed his son Hunter. MBNA is the largest independent credit card company in the world and was Biden's major backer. So I just want to lay out, when you start voting for Biden, because you are voting for something, that's what you're getting.